Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs walked in as heavy favorites, but nobody expected this. Justin Herbert didn't just play quarterback tonight. He unleashed the Ferrari. And Kansas City? They never saw it coming.
Well, Jim Harbaugh, a perfect 6-0 in season openers in his career. That ties Mike Shanahan for the second longest streak by a head coach in NFL history and trails only George Allen, who won 11 straight openers back in the 1960s and 70s.
Okay, so that's interesting, as we say hello to Jamie and Woody, because they're 6-0 in season openers, but the Chargers had lost 7 in a row to the Chiefs. Justin Herbert in this game, 3 touchdown passes, 318 yards, 0 picks. What impressed you the most about the way he played?
The Kansas City Chiefs didn't just lose a game. They got exposed on the biggest stage of Week 1. Chargers shocked the NFL. For years, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have been the NFL's gold standard, the dynasty every team was chasing. But on this night in Sao Paulo, Brazil, it was Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers who stole the spotlight. Herbert didn't just play quarterback. He played like a Formula One Ferrari, slicing through the Chiefs' defense with speed, precision, and control. Herbert unleashed the Ferrari. 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards, 0 interceptions. Against a defense that usually thrives on pressure, Herbert looked untouchable. Social media erupted instantly. Fans couldn't believe their eyes. Had the Chiefs' dynasty finally shown cracks? The Chargers, a team long haunted by collapses against Kansas City, finally flipped the script. They didn't just survive, they dominated. This wasn't just a regular season win. It was a message to the NFL. Justin Herbert is no longer the young challenger. He's arrived, and he's here to threaten Mahomes' throne.
Well, he was, Nicole, he was so confident in the pocket. Like, the thing that stood out to me is the Chiefs couldn't get any pressure on Justin Herbert, and the way he was able to dissect what the Chiefs were trying to do defensively against them, didn't matter if they rushed forward, if they brought the house, he had an answer for it all. And it just seemed like, for me, the Chargers, they let the Ferrari loose in Justin Herbert, and he put on a masterful display against that very good Chiefs defense.
For years, the Los Angeles Chargers have lived in the shadow of the Kansas City Chiefs. No matter how talented their roster looked on paper, when it came time to face Mahomes and Andy Reid, the result was always the same: heartbreak. 7 straight losses had created the narrative that the Chargers couldn't handle the big moment. But in Sao Paulo, that story flipped. Justin Herbert walked onto the international stage and delivered the kind of performance that can change the trajectory of a franchise. He wasn't just good, he was flawless. 3 touchdown passes, 318 yards through the air.
Justin Herbert, he had a great game. A great game. 3 touchdowns, 318 yards in the air.
0 interceptions. And most importantly, complete control from start to finish. Herbert's 3 TDs, fire. What stood out wasn't just the numbers, but the way he achieved them. The Chiefs threw everything at him: 4-man rush, heavy blitz, disguise coverages, and none of it worked. Herbert saw it all, adjusted, and calmly carved them apart. Analyst Damian Woody summed it up best on ESPN. They let the Ferrari loose in Justin Herbert. And that's exactly what it looked like: a machine built for speed and precision, finally unleashed on the open road. Every drive Herbert engineered felt like a statement. He wasn't rattled. He wasn't hesitant. He wasn't the young QB learning on the fly anymore. This was a polished, confident leader dismantling one of the NFL's best defenses. For Chargers fans, it was cathartic. For the Chiefs, it was alarming. Because for the first time in a long time, Kansas City looked like the slower team, the one trying to keep up. And that's what made Herbert's Ferrari comparison so perfect. He wasn't just fast, he made everyone else look outdated. This wasn't just Justin Herbert's best game against Kansas City. It was the game that announced to the world that the Chargers might finally be ready to challenge for the AFC crown. The Kansas City Chiefs have built their dynasty on resilience. Fall behind, Mahomes will save you. Struggle on defense, the offense bails you out. That formula has worked for years. But in Brazil, against a locked-in Justin Herbert, even Mahomes' magic had limits. It started with injuries. Xavier Worthy, the Chiefs' explosive rookie receiver, went down early. His absence immediately changed the offense. Without his speed to stretch the field, Kansas City's attack lost its edge. Suddenly, the big plays weren't there. Instead of their trademark bombs, the Chiefs were forced into short, methodical drives, the kind of game the Chargers were built to defend, and the miscues piled up. Drops, missed assignments, slow starts. Andy Reid admitted post-game that his team came out flat and lacked energy. That's not what you expect from the defending champions. Yes, Mahomes still delivered his signature highlight. In the fourth quarter, he uncorked a pass that defied logic, threading the ball through 3 defenders, off balance, sideways. It was vintage Mahomes, the kind of play that usually sparks a rally. But this time, it wasn't enough. Mahomes magic. Not enough, because for every moment of brilliance from Mahomes, there was a counterpunch from Herbert. The Chiefs' defense couldn't get pressure, and the Chargers' offense punished them for it. Even on third-and-long situations, downs, where Kansas City usually thrives, Herbert extended drives, buying time with his legs and hitting receivers in stride. The Chiefs were exposed in 2 critical ways. First, without explosive weapons, their offense becomes ordinary. Second, their defense, as talented as it is, has no answer when the pass rush stalls. Herbert showed the blueprint: patience, poise, and precision. What made this loss sting even more was how familiar it felt. In 2023, we saw flashes of the same problems: receivers dropping balls, the offense relying too heavily on Mahomes' improvisation, the defense cracking under pressure. Instead of fixing those flaws, the season opener magnified them. Mahomes took accountability afterward, admitting the team didn't come out with the right mindset. That honesty is part of what makes him great. But no amount of leadership could erase what fans saw. For the first time in years, the Chiefs looked vulnerable, and the Chargers were the ones to expose it. When the clock hit 0 in Sao Paulo, the Chargers weren't just celebrating a Week 1 win. They were celebrating a breakthrough. For 7 straight games, Kansas City had been their wall, the immovable obstacle blocking every path to the AFC throne. But on this night, Herbert and Harbaugh's Chargers smashed through it. Jim Harbaugh, in his first season back on the NFL sidelines, set the tone. His message after the game was clear: the Chargers weren't going to be denied. They matched Kansas City's physicality, responded every time the Chiefs punched back, and played with a belief that had been missing for years. Harbaugh called Herbert phenomenal, praising not just his arm but his toughness, his scrambling, even his leadership. Locker room erupts. Police Garlight, this wasn't just stats, it was command of the game. For the Chargers locker room, this win felt monumental. Beating Kansas City doesn't just give you a good record, it gives you validation. It tells every player, every fan, and every analyst that this team is no longer the little brother in the AFC West. They went toe-to-toe with Mahomes and won. For the Chiefs, the fallout was equally powerful. Andy Reid shouldered the blame, admitting his team lacked emotion. Mahomes echoed the same, saying they didn't play with the right mindset. And while no one in Kansas City will hit the panic button after one loss, the narrative has shifted. The aura of invincibility is gone. NFL fans noticed. Social media buzzed with one question: is this the start of a power shift in the AFC? The Bengals, Bills, Ravens, all are threats. But the Chargers, after years of being labeled talented but unreliable, just prove they can execute in the biggest moments. Power shift in the AFC. Eyes on Herbert. His Ferrari performance didn't just expose the Chiefs. It announced his arrival as Mahomes' true rival. Not potential, not someday. Right now, the fallout of this game will ripple through the season. If the Chargers build on this momentum, the AFC might no longer run through Kansas City. For the first time in years, the balance of power looks like it could tilt. One game doesn't define a dynasty, but one game can spark a revolution. And in Week 1, in Brazil, Justin Herbert lit the fuse.